My name is Liz, and I'm married to Lance, and we have 2 kids, Caroline, who is 6, and Reed, who is 4. We live in Three Rivers. We have lived there for almost 2 years, and prior to that, we lived in Portage for about 18 months. The activity that I have enjoyed doing this summer is that I love to garden, and the funny thing about that is that a lot of my plants died this year. Last year animals ate them, and this year a bunch of them died. And even though it hasn't gone as planned, I really love the garden because I feel like it teaches lessons, and there's really no failure in the garden, only lessons to be learned. And so my favorite things to grow are strawberries and muskmelon and watermelon. So the scariest thing that I've ever done that I can think of is when I was in Mitch and Mackenzie's college ministry, and it was their first year doing the big U-Life trip, and we went to Tennessee, and they convinced me to go whitewater rafting. My favorite vacation destination is the mountains. I love the mountains, and my very favorite place is the Arapahoe National Forest in Colorado. It is, in my opinion, the most peaceful place on earth. A faith challenge that I have overcome recently was that about 5 years ago, I realized that I had more questions than I had answers, and I suddenly had a lot of doubt. And I actually at the time considered leaving the church altogether. At that time, I began asking questions for the first time. So when I was growing up in church, questions weren't really welcome. When we asked them, we were met with really black and white answers. And so I'd never really taken the time to ask the questions that I had. And I was met with a lot of people who really encouraged me to read books and listen to things instead of just choosing to walk away. And so for the very first time, I started to be okay with questions. I started to ask them, and I started to look for answers, and I began to understand that it was okay to change my mind, even if there were things that I'd believed for a really long time, that God isn't afraid of my questions or my doubts. And really what helped me with that was the people around me and the books that I read, and that I gave myself permission to doubt for the first time. And on the other side of it, what I can say is that doubt made me more resilient. And what I believe is that doubt is leads you to a more resilient faith. And I know that I'll still have questions, that there'll be things that happen and things that the church decides, and that I'll still have big questions, and that's okay. And that God will meet me in those questions. And really, I don't ever really want to walk away from the church anymore. I don't have those feelings because I know that Jesus will still meet me there.